How about it, y'all, and welcome to the Lake Seminole Ramblins Fishing Report, brought to you by Seminole Guide Service. With over 50 years of experience with our guides, we have the knowledge to get you bit. I want to thank you for tuning in today. We got a pretty awesome show lined up for y'all, and I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you check out our website, www.seminolefishingreports.com, for all your local Lake Seminole needs. And now, on to the show. All right, welcome back to the Ramblins. I'm your host, local guide Chris Taylor. Thank y'all for listening. Crazy week at Seminole, y'all. Big fish week. Shad spawn started. It's on. 10-pounder alert. I stuck a 10-pounder, finally. Spinnerbait up in the drain. She had just laid out. She was probably close to about 12 pounds, probably 2 nights before, full moon. Without getting too crazy into it, it's going to be a little bit different podcast today. It's going to be pretty long. We're going to bring fellow guide Ryan Higgins with Seminole Guide Service. We're going to bring him on, talk about the West Side Team Trail Tournament on Saturday. It was a pretty awesome event just because 6th place was 16 pounds for a 3-fish limit. Like, y'all, it's crazy. I think there was maybe more than 10 fish on Saturday that were over 6 pounds. Crazy week. Crazy week. So without dragging it out, let's bring on Ryan Higgins. All right, Ryan, let's talk about this tournament.
All right.
How many boats were in this thing?
If I remember right, there were 32 boats in it. And then there was another one that ran out that same day out of Big Jim's, another 30-boater. So 60.
Okay, it's a pretty good turnout. Well, I just want to hear about your day. You know I was out there with a customer, and I know we pulled up on the first spot, and there was a bunch of shad and a bunch of hybrids sitting on there. But I think about 20 minutes into the morning, I got a phone call from you. So let's just hear what was going on from your side.
Man, it was the perfect storm on our side. So I'd be lying to you if I told you that it all was smooth sailing. Our boat number gets called on blast off. We take off. We get barely out of the bowl at Big Jim's. I have motor problems. Have to shut down there. I've got like an 8-mile run down the lake I was trying to get to. Start running down there. It bogs down there's a sensor on it every mile. Bogs down. For some reason, I had something in my head saying, listen, you need to go over there to the Y tree is what I call this spot. Go there to the Y tree. You're never going to make it the other hole. Go over there and fish it out. Pull up there. There's shad flipping when I get there. There's fish biting or blowing up in the pepper grass when I get there. First cast, I hang up on a tree. I have to go up there and get it. I mean, things are starting off real well.
Yeah, naturally.
So on my second cast, which is my first real cast, I throw up to a stump where I've caught some fish off of before, make about 3 turns with that nickel spinnerbait, and rod just loads up. I stick her, and she immediately turns back. Long story short, get over to the boat. It's a 7-pounder. All right, that's okay. Make 2 more casts, stick another one, 4.5.
Good start.
While this is going on, like I said, there's shad flicking around, boat across the way from me. I can hear them netting fish and high-fiving. It's going good. Water is a little dingy, so didn't get to see it. Normally when you're throwing that spinnerbait, some shad will ball up on it. Didn't get to see a whole lot of that, but did see a little bit of it. But if you're catching, we're spitting up little shad, 2 or 3 inch shad.
Oh, yeah.
The water temperature is 72 degrees, and it's halfway through April, full moon. I mean, it's set up perfectly for the first wave of that shad spawn.
Yeah, you hit it. Sounds like you hit it just right. I mean, because I know it wasn't going on. We've been talking about it for 2 weeks. I've been talking about shad spawn, and then all of a sudden, that full moon hit, and there it was. And that creek you were in the creek, right?
Yeah, I was in the creek.
Oh yeah, see that creek gets awesome when it gets muddy like that, and I love it.
It was. The water was stained. Lake's high, as everybody knows. And we got lucky because it was overcast. And if anybody that's fished shad spawn knows, especially in clean water like the creek generally has, once that sun breaks those trees, it's pretty well done.
Light switch is what I call it.
I mean, it was probably 8:30. I mean, they were still rolling pretty good after 8. And they shut down for a while. Switched up tactics, started dragging a big worm through there, picked up quite a few more. We probably caught, I don't know, the low end of 25 fish yesterday. Caught some on a buzzbait, caught some on a swim jig. Most of them were on that nickel spinnerbait, though. It was good. The field, shoot, we had just shy. It was 3 fish limit. We had just shy of 15 pounds, 14 something, and we didn't cut a check. I mean, that's
Wow.
late fish yesterday.
Well, that was good for what, 6th place?
Yeah, I believe. Don't quote me on that because I haven't seen the results, but if my math was right, we were in 6th place. We were like one place out of the money for the 6.
Yeah, that just shows you for a 3 fish limit, 16 pound, 6th place. That shows you the lake was on fire yesterday. Of course, I went out this morning and it was a little different, but I had shad on my bait 4 different places till about 9:30, which is pretty amazing. Do you remember the winning weight?
The winning weight was 17.6, something like that. Young, and I can't remember the other partner's name. They win a bunch of those West Sides. They're pretty good sticks. Big fish of the tournament went to Flint King. It was like an 820. Just absolute hammer. Clint Brown, he got 4th place with 15 something. He had a 7.3. And that 7-pounder I had was not even big fish at the tournament. It was like 3rd biggest fish at the tournament. I mean, there were some giants caught yesterday. And everybody at the ramp, I mean, you get the whole tournament talk going on during the weigh-in, and everybody was like, man, go see the shad spawn today? Shad spawn, shad spawn, shad spawn. I mean, that's what everybody was mutual consensus is. I think yesterday morning's first morning it really happened.
Yeah, that was definitely, because I've been checking for it every single day, and it hasn't happened. Now, I take that back. In late February, before that cold spell came in, we started to have a little bit of it, and then the cold spell shut it way back down. But yesterday was officially the first start of it, for sure.
Just Friday for 10 hours free fishing, and it was sunny, and it was a beautiful day, windy. I caught 2 fish. I mean, it was a completely different animal yesterday when that shad spawned.
Yeah, and this morning, I mean, the lightning had shut them down this morning, but the shad were still, 4 or 5 places all over the bait, 2-3 inch shad. So it's on, and it's going to continue to do it. That's the beauty of the shad spawn. It won't rely just on the moon. They'll do it over and over and over and over and over till it's over. So we can fish this pattern for a while. That's why I get excited about it.
3 weeks to a month.
Exactly. Yeah, till the next moon.
The thing is, you gotta hit it. If you roll up and it's going on, flip them in the boat, get them in the box, and make a cast. If you're not putting them in the box, flip them in the boat, throw them out. You got to keep it rolling.
That's right.
Once you let off them, they're done.
Yeah, it's a very fast bite. So if you're laying in the bed, or you got to have a biscuit or breakfast, and you don't get out there till 8 o'clock, you've missed the bite. You have to be out there at sunrise, and you better know where they're at. You better have your bait dialed in, and it's like what I say is a fat man going to Golden Corral, and he sits there, and when he's full, he's done. It's a light switch. He's going to flip that switch, and that's it.
Yeah, we were catching them as fast as you could catch them, and once they stopped, it was an hour before I could finally make one bite something else, and it wasn't anything moving. It was
Cinco.
slow as like a Carolina rig.
Right. Yep. The stuff that's painful to fish.
Yep. They just sitting down there burping, then spitting up scales.
Yep. And, I've had customers in the boat a bunch of times fishing the shad spawn, and I'll tell them, okay, it's a light switch, and you'll see. And we'll wreck them, and then there's the light switch. It's over. And I say, all right, get the Cincos out. Start throwing Cincos around. And
the guy that fished with me yesterday, it was our first tournament together, and he was a guide up north, and he had never seen a shad spawn on a largemouth lake. And we got that fish in the box, and I threw that 4.5 in there, then another 4 in there, and he was like, brother, you want to take some pictures? These are hammers. I was like, we don't have time for pictures.
No, and those are just regular fish, so we can take pictures later.
Right. We're on Lake Seminole. We're catching good. We haven't got but one big yet. We ain't got a giant with him, so let's keep catching.
Yeah, we got regulars, but these are regulars.
I truly didn't even know we really had. It was probably 10 o'clock before I finally slowed down, grabbed my water, and let's weigh these things real quick and see what we got. And that we actually were better than what I thought we had, which is always a good problem. you just want something flashy and shiny and get their attention. A shad imitator. They'll eat a big dredger crankbait too, or a DT16 if you're in the deep stuff, DT10. They'll eat any of that stuff. I personally like something with blades on it.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, I like to try to draw the shad. It's a natural Alabama reed.
Yep. This is the time of year. Get a sleeper out there. You throw that donkey rig, that double fluke. Man, you can hurt yourself throwing that thing right now. 2 5-pounders eat it.
Oh yeah.
And that's the good thing about it is a lot of time, at least from what I've noticed, is once you get on one of those shad spawn, generally your first fish or 2 or 3 get off it are going to be the bigs for some reason. But whenever you're catching, they're going to be a cookie cutter size. If you're catching 1 to 3s, that's what's there. If you catch a 3 and a 5, that's probably what's there.
Yeah, it's birds of a feather flock together. It goes with bass too. They're gonna hang out together. That's very rare. There's gonna be 6-pounders and then a 1.5 in with it. It's gonna be a wolf pack full of about the same kind of fish.
All of them we caught on that first spot were, like I said, caught the 7 and then 3 to 4. We caught probably 20 that size. Picked up left there, went down to another spot looking for another big. Pulled up, hooked the 4 on it, lost it, and then 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Left it, came back an hour later, 2, 2, 2 again. That was all that was there, was just that size school of fish. So they weren't helping at that point.
Yeah, 2-pounders ain't gonna cut it. You got to have way more than that, especially with 3 fish limit, 7-pounders being caught. So you had to move from there for sure.
I sure wish we'd had a 5-fish limit, which I'd say that. I might have got my tail whipped even more than I did. But I mean, our best 5 were over 20. I mean, it had to be 21, 22.
Oh yeah, that's a solid sack.
Man, I'd never complain with 5 fish with better than a 4-pound average, pretty much, with a big kicker in there.
Well, I mean, that's the kind of sack you have to win out here anyway. So, I mean, that's a Seminole sack.
Clint Brown said it best yesterday. A 5-pound average is just average on Lake Seminole. I mean, that don't cut checks very often.
That's right.
That's crazy to me that it's that way, but 5-pound average is just what lives here.
Yeah, I mean, your average female out here is 5 pounds. I mean, it's very evident in the summertime throwing a topwater plug. You can catch a 5 just about every day. I mean, it's unreal.
Oh yeah, man, I get many bites, but once you get it, be good.
Yeah, and it's always funny to catch one on topwater and watch it come out and dance, and have somebody that's not used to seeing 5s all the time, and you'll hear that stereotypical, "Oh, that's a 10-pounder." You're like, "Nah, that's nowhere near 10." You'll know when you see a 10.
Yeah, it was fun yesterday. I have not thrown a topwater much this year. Threw a big prop bait earlier when they were spawning good back in March, but yesterday's first day I grabbed buzzbait, and shoot, man, I mean, we didn't throw much. We caught 5 or 6 in a buzzbait, just couldn't find the caliber we needed on it, so I went back to doing what I was doing that the big ones were eating, or the better ones were eating.
Right. And see, that's I threw a prop bait this morning and couldn't get bit, and then I threw a popper and started catching some on a popper, which I hadn't been catching them on. So I think finally, you've heard me complain that, which, don't let the world stop when I say this, but I was crying about ready for him to get off the sand, which is interesting because we've seen a bunch of fish that have transitioned off. I'm still seeing some garters. I was seeing a couple here or there that were still on the sand, and now we have some that are transitioned off into the shad spawn. So now it's turning into more what we're looking like mid-April should look like versus having everything on the bed.
Yeah, Lake Seminole's such a cool lake because it is April, and they've been spawning
since January.
At least February.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into that other argument because I'm agreeing with you on that. But since at least February, they've been spawning here.
So we need to get into this argument. So, y'all, this is my opinion, and Ryan shares this same opinion. So I'm just going to broadcast, and if I get some flack, if we get some flack for it, whatever. Bass do not have a calendar. We have this unrealistic vision or something of a bass that sits at his house and he looks at his calendar and he says, "Oh, it's time to start spawning." That's not how it works.
It's not March 15 yet. I can't do it.
Yep, that is not how it works. So let's just set this straight for everybody. Water temperature is everything to a bass. They are cold-blooded. So when that water temp hits 60, it don't matter if it's December, January, it don't matter. They're going to go. They're not going to look at a calendar and say, oh, water temp's 60, but it's January. No, they're going to go. Even if it's for a week and a half, they're going to go. Now, the spawn might not be successful. They might not have an egg hatch, but they're going to go. And the evidence is that you caught fish in January that were spawned out because we had, a week and a half of 85-degree weather, and we had 64-degree water.
Man, the first 15, 18 days in January, it was in the 80s. I hosted a tournament, 65-boat tournament, January 8th. And I looked at a buck bass on January 8th in 45-degree air temperatures, but water temperature was 62 degrees in Jack's Cut. I looked at a buck bass on the bed on January 8th. I caught one. I've got a picture, and I sent you the fish on the 21st of January on Martin Luther King Day. Caught her up the river. That was an 8-pounder all day long, but she was rail skinny. She was beat the heckin' back. I mean, she was red, had sores on her. She'd spawned. She had a big old saggy belly on her. The 21st of January. Call me what you want to call me. That fish had spawned out already. Now, I don't think the lake is spawning them, but we had 62 degrees. That's what it takes. 57, 58-degree water on a Florida strain largemouth, he starts stinking. The bucks start going up. 59, 60, the bucks are fanning.
Yep, 62, she comes up.
Yep, 61 and 63, here she comes. And that first wave is your bigs. That's, in my opinion, don't get me wrong,
biggest fish on the lake.
Yeah, I know a guy that caught a 10 2 weeks ago, not you, the other one, that caught a 10 2 weeks ago looking at her.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about 10s. We're talking about 12 plus. The biggest fish in the lake will bed during that time. And it's all about time on the water is being able to find what's going on. Because the problem is, Ryan, these people that question what we do, they don't have the time on the water. They're not out there every single day, which that's fine. We all can't do that. But you got to be a little bit open-minded. Things are changing. I mean, we had fawns with spots on them in December of last year. So things are changing. You are going to see stuff happen that you hadn't seen before. But yeah, they definitely were, just like you said, the biggest fish in the lake will go early. As soon as it gets time for their instinctual clock, not their calendar, to say it's time to go, that's what happens.
You and me caught them. The first ones that I caught this year looking at them was the day before Valentine's Day, because I remember telling you I've never caught one this early on purpose looking at them.
Right.
And dude, what do we see? 20 that day on the bed on the 13th of February, like down, guarding.
Yeah, that's when I was. Started filming them on the bed. That was the first full moon in February. We were having 20, 25 fish days locked on the bed.
Yep, we ran a group that you and me split on like 16th or 17th of February, and we spent the whole day sight fishing both boats. We did not catch a fish we didn't look at that day.
Yeah, every single fish was caught sight fishing. Yeah.
Yeah, in February, but I mean,
that's when it should happen.
Right, which Lake Seminole is still
it's Florida Lake. It's Florida Lake.
It sets up like a Florida Lake.
Yeah, it fishes like a Florida Lake. I mean, you have some areas that fish a little bit, you can fish a little different in the creek, but it's a Florida Lake, period. I mean, it's just how it is. So, Florida strain bass, they're just as sensitive as, the fishing at the Harris Chain or wherever else you go.
Dude, they were still catching those fish on a bed 2 weeks ago, and those fish have been bedding for real since January.
Yeah.
That's the neat thing about these southern lakes is, yes, it's late or mid-April. The bulk of the spawn is over, but right now we still have 3 stages of fish. There are still fish moving up. There are still fish actively on the bed. And there are fish that are post-spawn out on the ledges now.
I caught some 28 foot of water today that were hanging on the ledge.
That 7 I caught yesterday, the tree she was suspended on was in 24 foot of water. Now, she was within 30 yards of 3 foot of water, but she was on the first break off the sand.
Yeah, she pulled off. She was done.
She was done. She was fat again. She spawned early, I think. Because
she's completely done.
Back up. Yeah, she didn't have, her tail was still just a little red, but not much at all. Like she'd been done for a week or two probably.
Yeah. So there was what? Let's see, maybe 10 fish caught over 6 pounds this week. What would you think? Maybe more, the ones that we know about.
Yeah, there was that many caught in my tournament yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. So probably way more than that.
Yeah. I mean, Kristen Darley caught a 785 yesterday. I caught a 7. Flint caught an 8.2. Clint Brown caught a 7.3. The team that won the West Side, Young, they had 17 pounds, so they had at least 2 6s in there.
Yeah, they had a big one in there. I caught a 6.2 that same day.
And you caught the mythical 10.
Yeah, old 10. Yeah, she was spawned out. Yeah, she was spawned out too. You talk about dang heartbreaker. If I had caught her the night before, day before, she'd have been, 11, 12, something like that. But
she was still huge, Chris.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, last time I caught one here, I was 17, so it was long overdue.
I almost just let the cat out of the bag. I was about to pick on you once she ate, but yeah, she was a big fish to eat what she ate.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That big bait, big fish thing is not always true.
Yeah, it was a crazy week, that's for sure. Something I hadn't seen out here in a long time. Because last year for me, I had some really good days, but nothing like we've been set up for so far this year with just the big fish. Last year I caught a 7, or last week I caught a 7. This week I caught a 10 and a 6, and 10 plus other fish that are that size or more. Just an awesome week. We haven't seen this in a while, and I keep telling everybody, Seminole's got them. Seminole's healthy. Yeah, it's a challenging lake. It's probably one of the most challenging in the country, but if you put a little bit of time in and you don't try to do anything crazy, just throw a spinnerbait, throw a worm. The most elementary stuff.
Seminole Guide Service, and just make it easy on yourself.
There you go. So
let me or you give me your rod, and go.
Yeah.
We've done the hard work for you.
I have a bunch of people that do this. You ain't got to be ashamed to call the guide. If you're I don't care if you're a 20-year pro angler and you've never been here, give us a call, because what we can do is narrow down, and you'll see when you get out here, every square inch of this place looks like it's got a 10-pounder on it. Well, it just looks like, yeah, I mean, idle through Jack's Cut. Let me tell you something right now. Every single solitary person that goes in my boat and we go through Jack's Cut, they look at me and go, "Are we going to fish in here?" I mean, that's the kind of, every square inch of this place looks like it's got a bass on it. So you could come here for a week and not catch a fish because you don't know the hot spots, what's going on and all this. So real quick, 4 hours, get in our boat, or we can get in your boat, lay some trails for you, show you how to run the shortcuts, because there's some places out here you can really mess your stuff up if you don't know how to run it.
And I bought a lure unit this year, and I've been running here my whole life.
Yeah, it happens. You got to know how to run it. It's just wise to take time. And we do have a written guide, a basic kind of 101 overview on how to run the lake. It's on our website, SeminoleFishingReports.com, and that'll just kind of show you the challenging areas of the lake, like the crow's foot, and kind of how to navigate that. But it's a lot easier if we show you, and you have a lot better chance of success if you go out with us for just a little bit and we show you stuff. So definitely hit us up, SeminoleGuideService.com. We'd love to show you around. And we'd love to try to get you a big 10-pound fish, because they are out there. Have you seen any shell crackers while you were fishing around? Seen anybody catching them, I mean?
Yes. Friday I saw a bunch of folks catching shell crackers. I smelled a lot of shell crackers. I'd be lying to you if I told you I physically put my eyes on any, but I wasn't up there where they should have been. With that being said, I saw 3 different clusters of boats that had anywhere from 5 to a dozen boats tied off to each other up in the reeds, and there's only one thing they're doing: they're catching shell crackers.
That's right.
So yes, they are vetting. I talked to a buddy of mine Friday. He told me he wrecked them pretty good. He was actually calling, telling me he'd seen a bunch of bass. He knew I was fishing a tournament, but he caught a bunch of shell cracker. I talked to an old man the other day. while I was fishing a spot. And he said, man, I'm going to come out here and bass fish with you if you don't mind. I said, I'm tired of catching these shellcrackers. You got a bunch of them? He said, oh, yeah, buddy. Got a cooler full. So, they're going.
It's so hot that they're tired of catching them. That's telling you something right there.
That's what he said. He was ready to go and catch a bass and going to change the pace for a minute. So y'all go down to Lake Seminole Outdoors, get you Miss Dawn, get you some of them red wigglers, get you a little bitty cork and a little bitty hook, and get up in the cattails. Not the sawgrass, but the cattails. And there's sand under those cattails while those shellcrackers are there.
Yeah, and Miss Dawn, she's got every single thing you need in there. If you like using a brim pole.
She's got stuff I don't need in there. She's got everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really bad because I go in there and, I come home and my old lady's like, why'd you spend all this money on tackle you don't need? I'm like, well, she's got all this stuff in here I ain't seen. And I mean, so you got to be careful going in there.
I got you a candle, too.
Oh, yeah. I went to the gift section, baby, and I got you this awesome T-shirt. And oh, now she does have some really cool T-shirts, and she's got some really awesome gifts. Like we've got this, it's probably a 3x3 or 4x4 illustration of the lake, and it says Lake Seminole on it, and I was just drooling over it for a couple months, and she got it for me for my birthday in January. But she's got lake stuff like that you can't find, which, it's just my, I won't say obsession, but I just like stuff like that. I'm like a little pack rat. I like little trinkets and gifts, but the main thing is when you walk to that back corner of the shop, there's probably 5 or 6 aisles of everything that you need. And I'm not talking about like some Mickey Mouse stuff. I'm talking about she has big bite baits, Guggen stuff. She's got favorite rods, Fitzgerald rods, which was pretty awesome to see in there. Not to mention she's got replacement skirts, stuff like that you really need in a tackle store, but people overlook. She's got all that stuff in there. Not to mention, not just bass, she's got speckled perch stuff, and she's got a good selection of brim stuff. So if you like to go throw a brim pole, she's got brim poles. If you like throwing ultralight setups, she's got the ultralight setups. If you like throwing a rooster tail or a underspin or something at them, she's got all of that. Not to mention minnows, red wigglers, crickets, feed for your animals, awesome meat. We will not get our meat anywhere else but there because.
Dude, you're missing the best part. The tackle is awesome, and that's what we're here for. But I live north of Bainbridge, and I drive down to LSO to get me a steak. When I get one, that's where I go get it from. They have the best meat in the area.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you drive a while to come get it. And that tells you something.
To go down there and get it. I passed 4 meat stores to go get it from down there.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. That's the only place we'll get our meat. I mean, I just bought some bacon over there for $5 for almost a pound. It was 3/4 of a pound. It's the thickest bacon you've ever seen. I have to cook it in the air fryer. I mean, it's awesome. So big shout out to Miss Dawn. Thank you for what you do. Y'all go check her out. Lake Seminole Outdoors. She's over here at the 4-way on the creek side, and she will get you set up. She also has lunch for all you non-Southerners that she cooks herself, and it is mouth-watering, slap your mama good, I'm telling you. And they're now open on Sundays for lunch from 10 to 2, I believe it is. So if you're hungry after church, you can stop in and get you a good meal, and it's reasonably priced. But the main thing is to remember to support local. We want to make sure that we give back to the community here to support the lake. So that's the big thing. The corporations and outside people, they have plenty of money. We like to keep our money local. It goes back to the lake, and it helps preserve this area. That's the main thing. So speaking of big fish, apparently there was a close to a state record or breaking the state record shoal bass caught yesterday or day before, something like that.
From what I understand, and nothing's official, and I don't exactly know stipulations on it. DNR hasn't released anything yet, but there on Saturday there was an 8-pound 6-ounce shoal bass caught on the bottom side of the Lake Blackshear Dam. That is a giant. That's a dinosaur.
That's ridiculous.
Now, Will Moby Dick hunted his whole life. That's it.
Yeah, that's the one you hunt your whole dang life for. So, dude, that is wild. There's something about this year, or, even the tail end of last year, the big shoal bass have just been eating and been showing themselves. This is like the 80s again.
He was catch a hammer back in the winter?
Dude, December was a crazy month for shoal bass. So Flint Davis, and for those of y'all that don't know about Flint Davis, he was the Georgia High School champion, Georgia High School Angler of the Year. This guy is, I believe he's 19 now. He's 19 years old, and he's had 25 top 10 finishes in MLF. Like, he's going to be super hammer to look out for.
He is a stick.
Oh, yeah. And he guides on the Flint River as well for shoal bass. He stuck a 8-pound, let's see, what was it, 3-ounce. He had an 8.3, and to me it'd be heartbreaking because he was 2 or 3 ounces off of the state record, and that was official certified. And then 7 days later, on Christmas Eve, Matt McWhorter on the Chattahoochee side, he catches an 8.5 state record, certified new state record. So that's why you talk about 6 or 7 days, whatever. I went to Georgia Public Schools, so excuse my math. But, we're talking about 2 record class shoal bass in a week and a half. And then here it is a couple months later, and another person catches one that's 8.6. And of course, we're not going to say anything because, like you said, it's not official. We'll update y'all if it's official. We want to wait till the DNR says something because, like I said, Matt just caught this, just got the official record. So we're not going to try to rain on his parade until we hear the DNR say something. But man, that would be crazy. 3 record class fish in 6 months. What's going to happen in the next few months? I mean, that's insane. They only got time to grow and grow.
And the cool thing is, I know for a fact, from what I understand, I shouldn't say for a fact, from what I understand, Flint's fish and the other one in December were both put back alive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's right.
I don't know about this one. If he kept it, I mean, he's good for him. I mean, that's fine too. I mean, everyone likes to throw around the term fish of a lifetime. You don't understand. He won't see another 8.6. If he does, we need to find out where he lives, and he's going to buy all of my lottery tickets.
Well, it's the same thing with the second biggest bass that was caught by the guy caught my dad. He's not putting an 18-1 back. He's going on the wall. I mean, same thing with my first 10-pounder on Seminole when I was 17. I mean, we felt bad about taking her, but she was going on the wall. You know, it's my first 10, fish of a lifetime. You wouldn't think you'd catch another 10 after that.
Hey, you had every right. You had every right to take that fish out, and if you had every right to take a 3-pounder home and eat it if you want to.
Yeah.
Well, man, I think we have. Golly, we've had a great episode. Big fish, big fish, big fish. A 10-pounder. A potential state record?
Yeah, that's insane. Shad spawn?
Shad spawn. Come see us at Seminole Guide Service. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, everything biting. Shoal bass, largemouth, shell cracker, crappie, everything in the lake is biting. So we'll be glad to take y'all out. Hit us up, Seminole Guide Service. And Ryan, thanks for joining us today. We're going to have you on a bunch more. We like to do these extended talks. We're sorry, y'all, if it's been a little long-winded. We like to tell y'all what's going on. This is why we're doing the Ramblins. We feel like 8 to 12 minutes sometimes isn't enough to tell y'all exactly what's going on. It's the Ramblins. We're gonna ramble, baby. That's just how we do it. So,
right. Well, Chris, I appreciate being on, man. Looking forward to doing it in the future.
Yes, sir,
I know
buddy.
You're back at it hot to trot tomorrow morning. I will see you Tuesday night at the Big Jim's Tuesday Nighters. Anybody local, the Big Jim's Tuesday Nighters have started back. Great field last week. Took a pretty decent sack, like 13 pounds to win on 3 fish. It's awesome. They're cheap. They're easy. You're not going to get rich, but it's a good way to come scratch the competitive itch. Tuesday Nighters at Big Jim's. Y'all come see us.
Yep. It's 3 fish limit, $60 entry for 2 men, and it's all the hammers. The best guys on the lake fish this. So it's good fellowship also. So you'll be at.
Bring your big boy panties because it takes a sack most times.
Yeah, it's going to take at least 14 every night, at least. Like if you're not coming in with 14, just go ahead and put it on the trailer. But at Spring Creek Park Ramp, it's right next to Big Jim's. But Ryan, thank you, buddy. Great performance there on Saturday, crushing those fish, and we'll talk to you next week and see what you got to say.
Appreciate it, Chris. Have a good one, buddy.
Thank you for listening to the Lake Seminole Ramblins Fishing Report. I'm your host, local guide, Chris Taylor. Make sure to visit us on the web at www.seminolefishingreports.com. And remember, if you need a guide, we've got you. www.seminoleguideservice.com. And until next week, we'll see y'all later.